Well, good day, Semper Gumbie Nation. This is Ben, and I want to thank you for joining us on this episode of the Semper Gumbie channel. Well, today's video is going to be a non-camping video. Now, when I started my YouTube channel, it's going on about a year now, and I decided at one point, I was like, hey, I need to start doing some vlogging or social media. And I said, you know, what kind of equipment do I need? And I started out with a GoPro. And also we're going to cover the bag here in a little bit. But my very first video, about 100 videos ago, if you go back to the very first video I posted on YouTube, it was on a GoPro 5. Terrible. I mean, as far as resolution, and if I look at that now, I'd ask myself, why did I even use that GoPro? And GoPro has come a long way since then, and if you go ahead and watch it, you'll be shaking your head, because I still do. But it's cool to see how everything progressed. The GoPro 5 was okay back in the day and back in the time. It was an action camera. I think it was like 12 megapixels max, but it didn't have all the features that you have in your GoPros nowadays. So when I first started actually getting serious about it, I bought me a GoPro 10. And these little action cameras from GoPro are amazing, but they do have their drawbacks, their pros and cons. And this is what I started out with as far as when I wanted to get serious. So I went into, I think it was Best Buy, and I picked up the GoPro 10, and I was using this, just this alone, along with my cell phone camera, my Apple iPhone, and started doing videos with this. And the GoPros, like I said, they're great cameras, they're action cameras, and they range anywhere between $300 all the way up to $500, depending on what package you get. But I went ahead and just got the base model. I went ahead and got me a little GoPro selfie stick, which the GoPro mounts on this, and then it also extends. And on the bottom is a little tripod, so you can set the selfie stick on a surface and do your blogging. So that's how I started. Now, the GoPro 10, it's about 20 megapixels, so the resolution of these are great. They also have time lapse, and if you look at a lot of my videos, you'll see me driving, and sometimes I'll time lapse, the drive to where I'm going, or also my sunset or sunrise or my night photos. I'll do some time lapse footage, so that's also amazing. Now this GoPro shoots in 4K up to 60 frames per second. So if you zoom in or if you edit, that's some pretty good resolution. Now most of the editing programs, a lot of people edit in 1080. I like doing 4K, but 4K is a large file. And when I first started editing, I was using iMovie, and iMovie took forever. I mean, it would take 2-3 hours to upload a video, even with the 1K upload bandwidth I've got here at the house. And then a buddy of mine, Mr. Willie Gray, told me about Filmora. And Filmora at 4K takes me maybe 20 minutes to upload. And if I'm out at the campsite or remotely, I can use my Starlink and upload the video. So the GoPro 10, a waterproof action camera, and it's a good tool to start out your YouTube channel with, or your vlogging or social media. Well, after about 3 months of having a GoPro, I was noticing that I needed a second camera because, you know, swapping out cameras from tripod to, from tripod to selfie sticks was getting to be a little bit time consuming. Now, don't get me wrong, it's fine if you're starting off like that, and that's how I did it. But I went ahead and picked up the GoPro 11, and this one looks a little different because it is in what they call a media mod, and it's a case that you can slide your camera out, I don't know if you can, and put into what they call a media mod, and it has an external microphone right there. So your audio is a lot better. The media mod allows you to add attachments like lights, and let me see if I've got that in here. Oh, I've got it downstairs, but it allows you to mount lights, external microphones, and just accessories. Now, the media mod from GoPro is an additional cost, so you're going to be spending an extra, I think, $70 for the case. But having two GoPros really made my job a lot easier. Yeah, they're a little costly, but it makes it a lot easier if you're going to get serious into vlogging or a YouTube channel. So the thing with GoPros, they eat batteries like you would not believe. So if you decide to get a GoPro or GoPros, be sure that you get some extra batteries. And this right here is the charger for extra batteries. Of course, I picked them up on Amazon, the charger. And when I'm driving or going to a campsite, I leave this plugged in with my USB-C charging port in the car. So I always have fresh batteries when I get to where I am. So the cons to a GoPro is, because these are action cameras, they get really, really hot. They're supposed to be moving. And like this, when you put a media mod on there, it houses the heat even more. So usually about after 20 minutes of filming, they start to get hot, and they do have an internal heat shutdown. If they reach a certain temp, they shut itself down. So you might want to be aware of that when you're filming. Now, if you're filming in the GoPro 11, if you're filming in 5K, it does up to 5K, 4K and 5K. That takes a lot of effort on the battery, so they will tend to get hotter. And so that's the only con I have with the GoPros. Well, those two is battery life and the heat. So that's why I have two. When one gets hot, I'll just swap over to the other one. Going back to the media mod, like I was telling you, like I can put a light on the GoPro and use that. So you do have several different options for your media mod. And I can also put it on the side here. So it gives you a lot of options. So GoPros are great. And like I said, I started out with them, and they range anywhere between $300 up to $500. But Amazon is having a Amazon Prime day. Well, it's for a couple of days starting July the 11th. So you might want to, if you're looking to get a GoPro, check it out on Amazon. Also, if you go to GoPro.com, they do offer some sales, and some places like Best Buy will match the prices. And I think I've got the 10 Hoku. That's Hoku over there chewing on her little bone. They match the price online for the GoPro 10. So anyway, so these are the two main cameras that I use while filming my videos. So I just switched from the camera, the Sony ZV-1 that I'm going to talk about next, to the GoPro, and that's why you probably see a little bit different angle. But the next thing I'm going to talk about is the Sony ZV-1. Now, the GoPros were great, and I love using them, but I wanted to upgrade a camera, or get an upgrade to the GoPros, and a lot of folks is telling me about the Sony ZV-1. And the cool thing about the ZV-1 is it's a 24 megapixel camera, digital camera, and it also shoots 4K. That's their base 4K video at, I believe, 60 frames per second. So you could, it has slow motion, it has autofocusing, it has all the features that that I wanted in a camera. Now, it does have a LCD screen which you can fold out, you can flip. It does have a SD card slot and batteries. So, you know, this is a great camera, and it's mainly used for stationary, like if you got it on a tripod. Now, the action scenes or the movement is not as great as a GoPro. It's hard to beat a GoPro as far as the shakiness or the action movement stabilization. So the GoPro has a better stabilization platform than the Sony ZV-1, but the Sony ZV-1 takes amazing resolution on photos. Now, the Sony ZV-1 comes with a lens built in. You can zoom in, a telephoto lens with it, but it does not offer any kind of wide angle capabilities. So if you're looking to get wider angles, you need to get a wide angle lens. The drawback to this is this lens on here is fixed. So what I ended up doing with the help of some other YouTubers is they do make a mount which is on here already, and then you can add an additional telephoto lens or a wide angle lens. So let's go check that out. So if you're looking for wider shots, and this also has where you can unscrew the wide angle and just use the macro basically for close-up photos. So it's actually two lenses in one, and $40 to $50 on Amazon. It's the ulanzi wide angle macro. So this is a good option for you to have. What you see here is not what you're going to get when you get the camera. I have a small rig frame on here that gives it an additional support here on the side, so I can hold that while I'm shooting video. And the small rig basically allows you to mount different types of mounting options for your tripod, and we're going to cover the tripod here in a little bit. But this is my secondary camera that I use if I'm filming, or my primary camera if I'm doing still or shooting video that requires no moving or movement. But this is a great camera. They're going to be a little bit costly. I'll put the links in the description below, but for a 24 megapixel 4K vlogging camera, I think I made a good decision. Now, the Sony came out with the ZV-10, and that allows you to change lenses, but you're going to pay a little bit higher price. So with the $40 extra lens adapter, I decided to go with that, but great camera. The drawback to this is it also eats batteries pretty quick, and I do have a battery charger. It's downstairs. I have 3 batteries that I use for this. They're probably last about 25 minutes if you're shooting in 4K, so be aware of that. That battery life is also compromised on these. Just seems like all the batteries on all video equipment goes by pretty quick, so take that into consideration. One thing I like about this camera also is you do have some ports here on the side where you can hook up external microphones and additional equipment to this. So, but Sony ZV-1, and I like it. Okay, so the next thing we're going to talk about is tripods. Oh wait, first, coffee break. Semper Gumbie Coffee Company. Cinnabon flavored this morning. Oh man. Check out sempergumbiecoffee.com and check out our coffee there. And you'll be amazed if you do order some on the taste. But I'll talk about that at the end of this video. So now we've got all our video equipment, our GoPros, our cameras. And I'm also thinking about getting a Canon R6 or R7, which is also great with stabilization shots, but I have to consider that here and weigh my options out. I need to do a little bit of research. So if you do have a Canon R6, R7-ish, or maybe the R8, comment in the description below and tell me what you like about that camera and what you don't like about that camera. So, but let's move on to tripods. Now, let's set this aside. When I first started with my channel, with just the GoPro, you need a tripod, and I bought 2 tripods actually, and you know, I got a cheap tripod. I think I paid $20 for it, and I don't use them anymore. So just because, you know, I'll tell you why. But this is the tripod that I first purchased. It's a Targus tripod. It's aluminum. It's 3-legged with expanding legs, so you can expand it and put it on in. And I got this for my GoPro. Now I can't believe that how far my equipment has come since I first started, but I don't use this anymore. So if you're starting a YouTube channel, if you're starting vlogging and you need a tripod, contact me at sempergumbie731@gmail.com, or put it in the comment section that you would like the tripod, and I'll send this to you absolutely free of charge. I don't use it anymore just because I've upgraded. But these tripods are light, and with my Canon or with my Sony ZV-1, it tends to be top heavy, and if you're using a heavy camera, you have the tendency for it to fall. So I learned that in Colorado when I was up in the mountains where the wind was blowing pretty good. And so I don't use these. I carry this in my truck as a spare tripod. But the tripods that I use now compared to this, I use a heavier stand, carbon fiber, with what they call this head on the top is called a fluid head. And basically, when you buy a regular cheap tripod, you see how jerky. Let me see this, loosen that up. It's jerky if you're doing moving shots. See that? And Hoku's over there scratching, so it's very jerky, and you don't get a nice smooth fluid shot. And This is great if you're, you know, just using a GoPro or just starting. You know, it's just jerky. Now this right here is what I call a fluid head, and I've got them on all my two tripods that I've got, and basically it's so smooth. And you know, if you're shooting video or you're just trying to move, there's no jerkiness in it. It's just so smooth. You know, just going up and down. You know, the movement in it is just, like I said, fluid, and your shots will be nice and smooth. And these are options that you can purchase for your tripods. They do not come with your tripods. And this one here is made by Small Rig. So we'll cover that here in just a second. But this is the Ulanzi Photo Pro Aircross, and it's a carbon fiber tripod with expandable legs, so you can fold them up or extend them to the length of your video height that you want. But they also come with some ports or some mounting screws here, where you can mount additional arms, lighting, another camera. And this Ulanzi Photo Pro is very sturdy. And if you look on the bottom here, there's also a hook where you can put a weight, a bag or something to keep it even more sturdy. What I was really surprised is the Ulanzi Photo Pro comes with a cell phone mount, where you can mount a cell phone on the top and use your cell phone as a video camera while it's steady on the mount. So that was a cool thing with this Ulanzi Photo Pro. But I like it, and it's I'll put a link in that description in the box below. And it's lightweight, but very sturdy. Next thing we're going to talk about is drones. Now, a lot of you ask me, what drones do I use for my drone footage? But I use the DJIs, and they are exceptionally well-built drones. And when I first started with drones, I purchased the Mavic Mini 2. And this was a great drone, or still is. You know, records up to 4K, and it's fairly light. It's 249 grams, and all my drones are 249 grams or less, so that way you don't have to get a license for it. But the drone footage I've used in my earlier videos were all DJIs. Now, what led me to upgrade to the Mini 3 Pro was these right here do not have avoidance sensors like the Mini 3, and we'll cover that in a little bit. So if you're flying one of these and you're headed to trees or any kind of obstacle that does not have obstacle avoidance, and you need to think about that. So it's a great drone to learn on. They're fairly cheap. I won't say cheap. They're a couple $100s, but it allows you to learn how to fly a drone. And like I said, there's no avoidance on here. So just be aware if you're flying, be sure to check out the area of your obstacles. Now, the controller, let me open this up. This is the controller, and basically your cell phone fits right in here, and you use your cell phone as a screen. I found that it got to be an inconvenience, I should say, or just a pain to keep swapping cell phones. Take your cell phone, set it up, plug it in, sync it. And the thing is, I recommend if you do get this one, is to turn your cell phone on do not disturb, because you'll get, if you get texts or somebody's trying to call you while you're flying. I was getting some interruptions while flying. So like I said, these are great. You know, these antennas, they fold in, you got your joysticks, but like I said, I found it a little bit cumbersome. And so I just use this as my secondary drone. Like every other drone, they fold up really nice. And you got a storage bag and a battery charger. So this is my secondary drone. Okay, so my next drone, let's turn this bad boy, is the DJI Mavic Mini 3 Pro. And I do have a little propeller protector band on here, so I'll just take that off. Let's open this bad boy up. So the DJI Mini Mavic, I can't, let me see. So this is the Mini 3 Pro. Now this right here is just a cover to protect the gimbal and the camera, but this is a outstanding drone. 48 megapixel at 4K, and it does have front avoidance and bottom avoidance. So if you're approaching an obstacle, it'll sense that, and the drone will actually stop and hover before hitting that obstacle. And it does have sensors under the drone itself. So this makes it a great intermediate drone to fly. Batteries are replaceable. I do have 3 batteries for it. These also, the battery life, I would say it'd be about 25 to 35 minutes depending on how you fly it. These can also track objects. So if I'm driving, or if I'm riding the electric bike or moving along, I can set the controller for this drone to follow me or do what they call a circle around me and hover. But the options on these are great. If the battery, just like the Mavic 2, if the battery starts getting lower or starts getting low, these will RTH or otherwise return to home. Now, I know some folks like Brian Waters, and they'll fly their drones, I mean, a mile out. And they'll come home. They'll come home when you ask them to. So I haven't ventured a mile out yet. It'll take me a little while, especially when you spend the money on something like this, to have it sent out a mile where you can barely see it. I've got bad eyesight. I got to use glasses, but they do come back home. And these are great drones. What else they have on here? They also have, if they go down for some reason or you lose your drone, they have the search where you can locate your drone. Let me put these back on. But I bought this. These are just to protect the propellers from opening up. When you do buy your drones, they do come with an extra set of propellers, some tools, some screws to remove them and replace. And the propellers are specific for where they go. So now the controller, like I mentioned, the screen is in the controller itself. So, oh, I'm sorry, it's upside down. And I'll turn it on for you. So you don't have to put your cell phone to this. This is as a built-in controller. So it makes viewing your drone or viewing the footage a lot easier while flying. And this is also rechargeable. So what'll come up when you power on, it'll start syncing with the drone, and you will get a screen, pretty good resolution for that. The back side, you do have your little joystick knobs that you can, they actually go on the drone itself, and then you store them in the back. And I do have a lanyard that I can put around my neck and connect the drone controller to. That way I can leave it hanging if I need to have hands free. The front of the drone, it gives you 3 options. It's C, N, and S. C would be the cinematic, and that's what a lot of folks like myself use, where you get that cinematic panoramic view. The N is just your regular speed. It's a little bit faster than cinema or cinematic. And then you got your S, which is your sports mode, which is super quick. I mean, the drone is moving. So, but having the screen on here makes it a lot easier, where I can set it down, be driving, look at the screen, and then do some adjustments. With the cell phone one, you have to pick it up and move it around, but those are the options that you got to deal with. This thing, the Mavic 3, has all the options that I need. And I do have a battery charger with some extra batteries, of course. Let me see. The ultralight batteries. I think I got I got 3 ultralight batteries. And of course, this right here is additional costs. So, but those are the equipment I use for my channel. Like I mentioned before, you can get by with a GoPro, an Apple iPhone, Android iPhone in 4K resolution. Takes great. I still use my cell phone for some shots. Like if I walked in, my last video when I walked into Buc-ee's, I didn't want to, bring a big old GoPro with a selfie stick and walk around the store. So I used my Apple iPhone, iPhone 13, and just videotape while I was in there, shot footage. But we're going to go ahead and check out the bag, and then we'll call this video good to go. So let's go check out my equipment bag. All right, so the next thing I'm going to cover real quickly is video audio. And what you see here on my shirt is a wireless microphone made by Hollyland. And basically the transmitter is hooked up to the camera, and the receiver is to my external microphone. Now, the Hollyland external mics are, you do have 2 microphones and 1 transmitter. And this right here is the charging case. Now, there are different types of wireless mics out there, and it could range anywhere, like the DJI and the Rode wireless mics are the popular ones. They're great microphones, but you're going to pay upwards of, I would say $300 for for that brand. Now the Hollyland is fairly cheap. I say fairly cheap, more economical. For two microphones, you're going to be paying about $120. And right now, when I purchased mine about a week ago, I used a coupon that Amazon had. But with Amazon Prime coming, just check out the deals. But they do make them in different colors as far as the cases and the mics. I almost got the OD green because all of you know that OD green is my favorite color. But what you get is a charging box or a container. I say charging station. Your mics go, your transmitter and receiver goes right in there. And when you take it right out of the box, let's see. When you take it right out of the box, it'll automatically pair with your transmitter, so you don't have to sit there and fumble and pair it. And you'll see that it's trying to pick up. I put it back in here, so once it pairs, it'll have a steady blue light, and you're good to go. Now it does have a USB-C charging port there, and that's how I charge it. But right now, this is like the first video I'm using with the wireless mic. So let me know what you think about the video. I did one last night and I forgot to turn it on and hit the volume. So I spent an hour of video that I didn't use. But Hollyland, if you don't want to spend the big bucks, the $300 price tag, that's be an option for you. And this is my video equipment bag. It's my backpack. And of course, my favorite color, OD green. And I also picked this up on Amazon. And there are several different kind of video equipment bags out there. This just at the time fitted or was going to make use of what I needed with my equipment. Now, as my equipment grows, I think I may need a little bigger one or a second one, but most of the time, this is what I carry. If I'm on the electric bike and I want to do some footage, backpacks are way to go. And I like it because, one, it has MOLLE hooks or panels in the front where I can add additional, and my tripods hook up to the side. And just like that, and then they strap in. The pockets are very well sewn, and the zippers, very good quality. And I also carry my laptop in the rear here. I don't have it in here today because it's downstairs being charged, but it also carries my laptop. And you know, you have tons of storage pockets on it. The backpack straps are pretty well reinforced, foam padding for comfort, and you do have some plastic D-rings. They're not metal, but most of the time I've just got little metal carabiner hooks on there. But let's go check out the inside of it and show you how I got it set up. So let's go check it out here. What I like about it is the flap opens up and you can flip it open, and you have access to all your gear. So just flip the flap. Flip the flap, that sounded weird. Flip the flap open. Okay, so first thing, I got my ulanzi selfie stick. Got my juice box made by Yolotech, and I didn't talk about this, but I'll cover that real quick. This is a juice box external battery made by Yolotech. You have up to 6 hours worth of battery juice here. So if I'm doing like my long trip, when I was driving across country and I had the GoPro on the dash, I had the juice box hooked up, so I didn't have to worry about switching batteries while I drive. But It does have USB C and USB inputs where you can hook up to a power source. And like I said, it's just a battery that lasts about 6 hours. But good thing to carry. And you can also use this to charge cell phones and other electronics equipment. So that's in here. In this case, right here, I have, I guess I should open it up. I have my placement for my Sony selfie stick. I didn't cover that as well too, but my Sony selfie stick for my ZV-1, my lens. I do carry an additional memory card. This one's 256. It's just a spare. And all my cards that I have in my video equipment are 512. But this one was on sale at Best Buy, so I picked it up while it was on sale and just carry it as a spare. But I haven't filled up my 512 gigabyte memory cards yet, so this will also be as just a spare. And of course, I didn't talk about this. This is my Sony ZV-1 selfie stick. This also folds out to a tripod, but I can start and stop video. I can zoom in. Using Bluetooth, I can zoom out. And all that good features on there. It just makes it a lot handier when I'm filming. I don't have to reach for the camera and turn it on or off. But that also goes in here. Of course, I got my lanyard for my drone controller. I do have my batteries for my drone. My DJI Mavic 3 Pro controller, my drone. I keep one drone in this backpack and I keep the other drone in the carrying case. The spare one I'll keep in the carrying case because I'll use that as my secondary. My Hollyland wireless mics. This space right here goes for my Canon, or goes for my Sony ZV-1, which I'm using right now. And then my GoPros are also in here. But as far as the contents in here, this is how I carry my electronic equipment. This pocket here, I'll carry my spare batteries, my lights, I'll carry a flashlight, and this one is the Olight Arc Field UV. Of course, what color? OD green. I'll carry that in here as a spare flashlight. My batteries, and I have an extra fluid head that I have for my tripods. This right here, you can carry a larger water bottle, or even if your tripod. I used to carry my cheap tripod in here, just like that, and then I would strap it down and use it, but it'll work with my carbon fiber tripods. On this side, if I want quick access to anything in the bag, but I have this case right here so I don't go in there too often. I do carry my spare drone propellers in here and the tools, which I hope to never ever have to use. And in here I'll carry another carrying case, and this carrying case consists of my webcam, some charging ports, USB-Cs, extra GoPro thumb screws, but basically all my extra charging stuff I'll carry in here. And I still have more room for things that I can put in the backpack. Okay folks, well I hope this video was very informative to you and you were able to see some of the gear that I carry in my arsenal for my YouTube channel. And all these products and equipment that you saw can be purchased off Amazon. When I look for products, I try to find the cheapest price out there as far as, I do a lot of researching. And it seems to me that Amazon's is my main go-to because they do attach coupons along with it. So like I mentioned before, Amazon Prime Day is coming up on July 11th. So check that out. You might be able to save a bunch of cash. And I'll put the links to these equipments in the description below. And like I said, if you have any comments or any questions, please put them in the comment box below and I'll answer them as quick as possible. But this will be definitely coming along on our next adventure. I carry this with me in the truck. And I hope that you are able to use this information towards your advantage. Also, again, if you want a tripod, need one, you don't want to spend the money on one, I'll contact me and I'll get this to you. And I'll even throw in some Semper Gumbie decals and all that other stuff. And if you made it this far in the video and you like the content and you're not a subscriber, go ahead and subscribe. Hit that subscribe and like button and comment. That helps the channel out tremendously. And we would love to have you as a subscriber. Last month, I think we were trying to hit that 1,000 subscriber mark. At the filming of today's video, we are at 5.5 thousand. So thank you guys all for checking out the Semper Gumbie channel. I appreciate the support. But go ahead and share the videos. And like I said, that helps out the channel a lot. So we're gonna close this one out. Be kind to your neighbors, treat them well, look after them. Spend time with your family and tell them that you love them because you never know how long you got left on this earth. And I'm just a man, his dog. Where is my Hoku here? I don't know where my Hoku here. Let's see where she's at. Come here, Hoku. She's coming up the stairs. Come here. Come here. Watch my tripod. Come here. All right. Up, up. All right. Look at that. Oh, look at the camera. So just a man, his dog, and his Dodge. And no matter what life throws at you, and it will throw a bunch of stuff at you, always be Semper Gumbie. Thanks for watching.